Gang, how are you today? Here with my friend Gary Katen. Um, Today is episode number 4 of Homage. Really important one. This is a bit of a different one from my mom or Mr. Wallace or Jamie. Um, my good friend Casey Della Penna a few months ago posted something on LinkedIn about it taking a village or no man being an island. And over the last 5 to 6 years, my friend Gary we didn't know each other till about 6 years ago. We met through a networking group, cultivated a relationship over that time. Gary's a really important part of my life, has become a very important part of my life, not only for the business acumen that he has. Gary owns a company called Gain Communications. They do phone systems and wiring. There's not a harder working guy in the business, at least that I know. But one of the lessons that Gary has really imparted on me over the last, I would say, 3 years, and it's an important one, is the ability to give back. So Gary has had his company, I don't know, for 30 years, 30 something years.
32 years.
32 years. Gary has seen it all, done it all, been involved in it all, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. There's not a person in my life that has shown me how to give outside of that, that it's not all about the dollar. It's not all about the work. It's about putting a relationship together that is going to be fostered, is going to be cultivated, and over time has led us to where we are today, which is, oh my gosh, of course that would happen. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just got a phone call. You can't make this up.
Oh, and mine's ringing. I'm trying to turn it down.
So here in the midst of Homage number 4, Dean Logan, I will call you right back. This is the beauty of Homage. This is the beauty of Homage.
Exactly.
I'm going to stop talking. Gary, today, what I want you to talk about is how you started, why those lessons that you've kind of imparted on me, not only about being there for somebody, being available. You know, Gary and I now text all the time about some of the funniest stuff you'll ever talk about. But really, how'd you start? How was it imparted on you? And, you know, when we met 5 or 6 years ago, why'd you impart it on a nut like me? Like, why me? Why am I so lucky, I guess? So I'm going to turn it over to you, give a little introduction, and
sure.
And thank you. Thank you for all you mean to so many people.
Thank you.
In our world.
Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your friendship. I guess it really started, without going back 80 years, when my dad raised us, right? My dad was a hardworking guy. My dad was an immigrant who came over, to this country, with a few dollars in his pocket, and he built a quilting empire. And I was the youngest of 3 children, and there was a big age difference. As you know, there's 12 years between my sister and I. So unfortunately, I was too young to take over the business when he decided to retire, but he actually built his business on handshakes. My dad never signed a contract, and he built an empire, right? So he had factories in Brooklyn, 13-story buildings. He had started his brother in a factory in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina.
Never signed a contract.
Never in his life has he signed a contract. Everything was always on his word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And back then it was all relationships, and before my dad died about 20 years ago, at the time I was probably turning 40-ish around then. And he said to me, he said, you know what? He said, you're a good son. I've tried to instill all of my values and my success, and you're successful. And I know that you're doing the right thing, but remember one thing. God put you on this earth with one thing, and that is your good name. You make sure you leave with that good name. That is the only thing that is important in life.
Mhm.
And I expect you, as you live the rest of your life, and God willing, it's successful and you're healthy and you're happy and the family is good, you just make sure that that is your ultimate goal. You never take advantage of anybody. You always give. Don't ask for anything in return because it will always come back. When you help people, don't expect them in particular to help you because it may never happen, but you will get the help unexpectedly from somebody else. So that's always been my motto is, you listen to people as you and I listen to people in business. People say, "Oh, I'm not really fond of this person," or perhaps I'm really fond of this person. I never prejudge anybody from what I hear from anybody, and that's really the critical part. And I think as you grow and as you get older, both in your personal life and your business life, you become attuned to know good people right off the bat. It's the old expression. Oh, I could judge somebody, immediately after 5 minutes of meeting with them. And I think be been very good at that, but I always give people the benefit of the doubt. And anytime you can help people, there's always the business side, and then there's the personal side. And what I find, a lot because of my connections with the hospital, I'll get a phone call from anybody, and they'll say, "Hey, Gary, my kid broke his shoulder. I've got to bring him to the ER. I've got this, or I've got this, or I got to go in for surgery." We have a mutual friend, Dan, right? Whose last name we'll keep off of this, but I was out to dinner with Dan. I think you were at that dinner, right? And Frank was there with us.
Mhm.
And Dan said, "Oh my God, I got to go in for surgery, and my surgeon is telling me it's going to be 6 weeks, and I got to get back on the golf course, and blah 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 blah." And I made a phone call to my surgeon, right, who operated on me on my knee, and Dan said, "Do you think you can get me in there?" And what was it? A week later, he was under surgery. Within a month, he was golfing again. If you can give back on the personal side and the business side as much as you can, I think that makes for a better person, and it makes for better relationships like yours and mine.
Mhm.
We don't need to give each other anything. We both know that if the chips are down or we need anything from each other, all we got to do is send a text or a phone call and it's done. You know what I mean? And I think that's what sets us apart and actually makes us better people and makes us better business people. Like I'll I mean, I've never had a sales rep. We've never had sales reps. Every bit of our business comes to us on a referral. And it's because people trust us, and because we do the right thing. If we didn't do the right thing, dude, we wouldn't have a business. You know. But
One of the things that, well, there's two parts today that like are really important. The first is the knowledge. This is very important and particular to our relationship, um, to what you were talking about giving back. Like, you're the doctor whisperer. Like, and without going into details or whatever, um, any anything that puts people in a better position for where they're at. I guess meeting people at where they're, what you really excel at, and what I love about Gary Katen is you meet people where they're at and you don't ask questions. It's like, what can I, and this is something that I've in particular, has really taken over, because when you first met me, I was probably, without, I'm a fossil, but without going back into the annals of history, I was probably like 35, 36. Um, Still that brash kid. I still had a lot of that, what I like to call immaturity. And to this day, and my wife will attest to this, I am a very big kid. But to the
you're a
point of
good
what you were
kid,
saying, as you get older,
right?
and having, if you're a young person watching this, it's extremely important. The word mentorship is highly cliche today, and is very, um it's a dime a dozen. It's
Mhm.
used all the time.
Sure.
When you find the right people, and you find those people that, one, have your back, which you've always had,
Mhm.
at some points in time where I've been like, wow, like, why is Gary doing this? Like, and it wasn't because I thought there was like some agenda. It was just like, wow, this dude's like really nice. Like, it's very, it's missing in the world. You don't see it a lot, especially where we're from. It's not,
Sure.
we're not living, we're living, let's call it what it is. We're living in the top 1% and everybody is gunning for something.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Not a good thing or a bad thing. So having that genuine nature, I think, is really important. Having somebody that has your back. You've been with me through the last 2 years, which it was very, very difficult, without going into details, very difficult time. And, now I can talk about it because it was not an easy time, but there are things you did for me and things you took care of that you had no reason to do it other than Darren's my friend.
Exactly.
And it went a long way to getting me to a place where I was okay, but two, it just showed me, I'm a big believer in paying it forward. And if it showed me that that's the way it should be done. So kudos to you, Uncle Gary.
Thank you. Thanks,
That's,
Derek.
that's the way things should be done. The other part of it, and the giving back part of it, and again, the guy that I'm talking to here, gives and, like I said, works so hard at what he does, helps other people with their endeavors. But the giving back part of it is something that, to me, I'm indebted to you, because I always had that in my nature. I always wanted to give. I always wanted to help, but it's knowing how to help somebody in the right way. It's refining that. It's like refining that process. So
Exactly.
getting to a place where you can't help everybody all the time,
Sure.
but finding the right people and the right time, and understanding that this is your cause, and this, you can't leave somebody in their place of need, or understanding that a little bit better.
Right.
I think that's a big part of what you taught me. And the story about, your dad, and, over 32 years of business with Gain,
Mhm.
you've seen a lot and done a lot. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are way more people that have asked Gary Katen for something than Gary Katen asking for something else.
Right. Right.
So, that story about your dad kind of ingraining that in you. What makes Gary Katen tick?
Yeah. It's all about people. Darren, you love people. You've got great friends.
Yeah.
You've got people that rely on you. You do. I mean, whether you realize it or not, they may not even know they rely on you, but you're the type of person that when you see someone in need, or you see someone needs help, that person may never ask you for help. They don't have to, because you're the first one to volunteer that help. I've seen that time and time and time again. And that is probably the most admirable quality that you have. Okay. And you've got a lot of good qualities, don't get me wrong, but you look into people and see what's going on. And the first thing that comes to your mind is, how can I help that person? What can I do? How can I show respect to that person? And that's the core. Dude, that's the core.
That's, you just hit on a point. One of that word, respect. So when you bring that word up, I guess one of the things that I am most in admiration of you is because of the respect that you show to people. Like, I've seen you at in public domains, in public places, where we've been together with people that we know, and I've seen you would be on my right, somebody else would be on the left. They wouldn't even think about, like, looking deeper, or like, what's going on, or why is that happening. That's something, to me, that I've learned from you, is that, like, look past the initial layer,
Right.
and see what's going on. And if there's a person in the world, in my entire world, and this is saying something, because you and I are both networkers, know a lot of people. Like, I've gotten to know a big thing. I have a friend of mine who I sit on a board with, and she was saying last night, she goes, one of the things that I most admire in the brief time we've known each other, only known each other a few months, but she goes, you look into people, like you want to know, like you pull things out, not in a bad way. It's not like you're
Right.
like prying, but
Right.
it's like, it's very easy to talk.
Sure.
And it's not always that way with people, especially like I said, where we live. People are
Right.
guarded, you know,
Very, very.
people are prideful.
Right.
Um, that resourcefulness and that respect, that word that you just said,
Right.
you pay a great deal of respect to people that you know, but you also pay a great deal of respect to people that you don't know.
Exactly.
And that's what always, that intrigued me
Yeah.
about
It's
Gary Katen. It was like,
it's
why
the
is he
right
doing
thing to
this?
do. It's the right thing to do. You know, it comes to both of us, Darren. It comes to both of us as second nature. You know, and I'm not tooting your horn or my horn.
No, no,
You know,
no.
but when we live that way, everything falls into place. You know, I'll give you an example. One of my guys just called me today, and you know him, Tracy, and he said, "Dude, I went into that opportunity in New York for you, right?" He said, I met with the guy. I'll send you the information, but somebody tested COVID positive in their office yesterday, and I didn't know about it. And my first response, and this is a very large opportunity for us, and it came through someone that you and I had recently met, Jason,
Mhm.
and he's chomping at the bit for us to get this opportunity so we can share in a revenue stream. And my first response to Tracy was, "Why did you walk in that door?" There is nothing, no amount of money that is worth risking your health. You should have excused yourself, walked out the door, got back into your car in the parking lot in Manhattan, and left. That's that's a core, right? That's watching out for somebody. Money is one thing, opportunity is another thing, but health and family come first, always, always, with the people that you meet and your extended family. That's the critical part. You know what I'm saying? So you
And
just have to put everything into perspective.
and I will tell the audience right now, because over the years I've gotten to know Gary's family. Um, what he speaks right now, it's not BS. Like, he's not just saying it. Like, the family, Gary's family is some of the most amazing people.
They're all
Amazing.
crazy.
They're funny. They're witty. They're crazy. They're fun. You know, like, it makes life fun.
Yeah.
But they're real.
Yeah.
That's the one word that I can say
Right.
about the Catens. Like,
Yeah.
it just,
Yeah.
they're
I get,
real.
I'll give you a funny story. So my crazy sister, right, who you know,
Kate, how's Florida?
in Florida. Oh my God, she's gonna be there through March. Um, she calls me up not too long ago, right? And she keeps beeping in on me, and she knows I'm on a phone call, and it's during the day, and she knows how busy I am. And I'm like, oh Jesus, I gotta answer. I was like, hey Kate, what's going on? Listen, I need a favor. I'm with a friend. The friend needs to get an appointment. She has a serious condition. I'm thinking to myself, oh God, here we go again. Now I got to call in another favor. You got to get her into this particular appointment. There's like a month and a half lead time to see this one doctor. And I said, okay, not a problem. I need her date of birth. I need the full last name, who her primary care physician is. Let me get off this call. I'll make a phone call, see how quick we could get them in. So about 20 minutes passes. I take care of what I have to do for this person, right? And my niece calls me, her daughter. And I said, oh, good, Karen, are you with your mom? She says, please tell me that she didn't call you. I said, of course she called me. I said, she's got a friend in need. I said, the appointment's actually going to be for day after tomorrow, going to be with this person, this person, this person. She says, okay. She said, I told my mom not to call you. I said, Karen, why? Who is this person? I mean, obviously, if they need a favor and they need, they're in poor health or whatever. She says, it's the cashier in CVS.
That's Kate.
I said, "Do we know this guy?"
Oh,
She
that's
goes, "Uncle
awesome.
Gary," she didn't even know her last name. She was filling a prescription for
Oh,
mom's blood pressure medication.
that's
And she said,
amazing.
"I have somebody that can help you."
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay, so I called the third in charge of of the largest healthcare system in the state of New Jersey.
For a cashier at CVS?
But it is what the woman needed help. The woman needed help. The
Oh,
woman needed help. You
Kate,
know, I don't even know if
wherever
she had insurance, but you
Kate,
know what? It is what it is.
Kate, wherever you are right now, whatever you're doing, if you're sitting out on the beach in
Serious.
Florida, like, oh, you are a national treasure.
I swear to God. I was like, Kath, like really?
Oh,
She's
that's
like, yeah, she
awesome.
couldn't get the appointment. They were giving her 6 weeks out. The woman's sick. It's like, all right, whatever. You know, can we don't even tell me. Next time somebody needs something, don't tell me who they are. Because I may not be able to make that call. You know, you only have so
Oh,
many favors you can call in, you know.
absolutely.
I can't be calling like the information center.
One of the last things that want to talk about. I know you're busy, and thank you for
That's
taking
cool.
the time today to do this. Um, is when you came up through the ranks, and
Yeah.
Gary's story is unique to say the least, from the Jones Beach part of it to like how it's a story for another day. But if you could give the audience one part of like that respect and like homage, and you could leave them with a bit of, I always love whoever's speaking to give a little bit of, other than my mom, who, Lucille, we love you. Gary brought the wooden spoon to
She's
the
got it.
yeah,
She's
she
got it.
from the
Darren, you
Wooden
better
Spoon Club.
behave. You better
See,
behave. You better
Lucille,
behave, Darren.
Gary brought the wooden spoon with him today. Um, what bit of advice would you give? A lot of what in terms of passing this along and passing knowledge along to younger folks that are, maybe not as far into their work journey or
Sure.
life journey or whatever. Um, Uncle Gary, what would you give them?
I would say always keep an open mind. Do not prejudge people. Do not listen to what other people tell you about people,
Why is that important?
because you need to be your own judge. Because what some people may think are either non-admirable qualities or admirable qualities, you don't want to rely on anybody else's opinions. Opinions should only be made by yourself, and those should be drawn from experiences, not
Mhm.
experiences of other people, experiences of you with that person. Because too many people get misjudged and they pay a price for it. Always make your own decision, be your own person. You don't have to listen to everybody else. Obviously, if there's a million red flags and somebody shot somebody and you see they got shot on television, yeah, it's pretty good indication that that person isn't a good person. So we don't want to go over the edge, but always give people the benefit of the doubt. I've been, and I'm not saying I'm perfect and that I can judge everyone perfectly. I've been burnt plenty of times, but you know what? You learn by those mistakes and you become a better person from it. But don't prejudge people. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Doesn't matter if they're the cashier in CVS. It doesn't matter if they're picking up your trash outside your house. Doesn't matter if they're the landscaper. It doesn't matter if they're the CEO of ExxonMobil. Everybody puts their pants on the same way in the morning.
Yes.
Everybody deserves the same amount of respect, regardless of their station in life, the amount of money they make, how non-successful or successful they are. Everybody is entitled to that respect. So as long as you give that person that respect, you will get that respect, because that will be the type of person that you become. And always remember to be respectful.
Yep.
That's key.
Be respectful. Have respect. Have perspective.
Yes.
We were having a conversation prior to coming on today. Don't want to go into it, but you know, working together, I think it's a vastly underrated skill set right now.
Yeah.
That so many people, the world would be so much it would be so much better. It would be a better place if everybody put aside one difference that they had with somebody and said, all right, instead of focusing on that difference, let's focus on what we have in common, and let's try to improve 1%.
Build on that. Just build on it. You know,
Imagine how much better of a world
oh my God,
of a world this place would be.
Wouldn't that be fabulous? One other thing I want to say too is don't expect anything. You know, don't expect anything, because if you don't expect anything and you do get something in return, it will be
amazing.
that much more rewarding to you.
Yeah.
Much more rewarding. You know, don't take things for granted. Don't take people for granted.
Yeah.
You know, always be there.
Giving without expectations. It makes if something does come back to you, it makes it that much more awesome
and rewarding.
Well, and to the core, I think for humanity, like giving with expectations,
that's not really giving.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's not really giving. That's bartering in advance of something in return.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a negotiation with karma.
Exactly.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't like anything attached to karma, because sometimes karma can bite you in the butt.
Yeah, it can. Well, Gar, again, I want to say thank you. This is episode number 4 of Homage. My very dear friend Gary, like I said, he's like an uncle to me, has taught me so much over the last 5-6 years, to health and to thank goodness 2021. You know,
right there with you, brother.
I'm very thankful for our friendship, very thankful for what you mean, not only to me, to my family, to many other people that are in our sphere, the countless people that you've helped. A heartfelt thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
dude, it's right there with you. The feelings you have for me, I have for you and your family.
Well, now we just got to be able to get through this virus and get back to doing what we all love to do.
Can't wait. Can't wait. We got to break bread in person. This is getting to be ridiculous. I want the lasagna.
Yes. I Gemelli.
We got to go for lasagna.
I Gemelli is in our future.
Yeah. Hopefully sooner than later, Dar.
Trust me, I hope so.
All right, brother.
But thank you very much. Appreciate all you do.
Pleasure.
Love you, pal.
Love you. Love you, brother.
Guys, Gary Katen, Gain Communications, episode number 4 is done.
Thanks, bro.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good.
Thanks, man. See you, Dar. Okay, bye.